Hey guys, it's Sarah, and welcome to my studio. So this week, I am going to do a little more of a studio chat. I'm also going to show you the ornament that I end up making a ton of this season on my Etsy store. So I know some people here on YouTube talk about how they often have this one product in their Etsy store or their website that makes them thousands of dollars a month, but then they never show you really what they do. And you always kind of have to go, are you really making thousands of dollars or are you afraid that people might steal your idea? And I don't really know what other people's motivations are for hiding things, but I figured I'd show you guys what I make decent money on during this time of year. I certainly haven't made thousands of dollars a month on it, but this year I'm already doing on track, I think, to do more sales than I did last year. So it's at least doing pretty well. So what I do is these group ornaments, and the design isn't necessarily completely original. I know there are, several designs of similar caliber and such. I make these using a combination of black acrylic as well as a metallic acrylic that when engraved will give a nice, pretty fine black look. And I sell these primarily in gold, silver. I have a brass looking color that I also sell. I did actually last year sell them in rose gold as well, but unfortunately, and I just found out this week when I went to order some, that the manufacturer has stopped making rose gold, which is kind of sad because while I didn't do a lot of like rose gold ornaments in this design, I have another design that sells pretty well. It's like a baby's first ornament and it's a rocking horse, and I just do it in like a metallic material. And the pink one was actually pretty popular. So that's a little sad that I've had to stop making that one. But, you know, it is what it is. So this is my ornament design set up over here in LightBurn. Now you can see I've got things laid out pretty nice and neatly to make life as, easy and efficient as possible. One of the things I definitely recommend if you're going to, do ornaments or do something where you're hopefully going to be selling a lot of them is to try and optimize your system as much as possible. It's not something people think about, but this has really made life fairly easy for me. So I have things set up so that I've got a layer here, which is my back pieces, essentially. So I move these on and off my tray as I need to cut more black pieces. And they're set up here on their own layer with power and speed settings so that all I have to really do is change the material thickness when I need to switch over to make the backs. Other than that, I kind of just slide them off and then I put them back when I need them. And then I've got my ornament designs all set up over here. So the max I can do here is 14, and I've got 13, 12, 11, 10, and 9. I usually actually only advertise for like 11 through 14, but I can do some smaller ones as well. And then I have it set up so that I also have the text, which is on a separate layer that I use an engraving for. And what I do is I grab a copy of my 13 and I will duplicate it using Command D or Control D. And I'll move it over here to my workstation. And then I usually just kind of copy the text from a recent one, duplicate that. I'm going to go over and move it into place. LightBurn is kind of funny where it sort of shifts things around. If you need to get more fine-tuned shifting, you hold Command on Mac, probably Control on Windows. So there we go. So it gets me close. And then all of these names are editable so that I can put them in here and change them up. So for instance, I need Douglas, Glinda, Doug. Okay. I don't need to have them clicked. I just need to click the font text over here. And then I go back over here. If I can type, which I cannot today. This is why you don't make videos when you work the night before. And if it seems too big, I just go up here to the height and I just kind of adjust it until I get to one that fits. Maximum I do typically is 9 millimeters in height, I think. And then this one, 6.5. And it just kind of, I change the size as I need. I go through and do it. And then once all of that is set, I will typically then do a preview, and I can actually save the image of the preview. And I tend to send a copy of this preview over to my customers just to get confirmation that everything looks okay, because sometimes people want the names to be in a different location. I give them a few days to respond. If they don't, then I just go ahead and cut it with what they listed. I've rarely had anybody, I think I did 60 plus ornaments last year, and I think I had one person that really wanted the names redone in a different way. And as you can see, it takes about 16 minutes to run. So it's, I've got a nice little efficient system. I'll often line them up here if I do, a bunch of them and wait for confirmation. But that's how you kind of can get things set up and optimized over in LightBurn. So for me, I've got these being engraved, I think a speed of 325 and 50% power. And then I cut through my metallic material, a speed of 14 and like 42.5. And again, these are settings that work on my machine. And trust me, I regularly adjust these depending on how it's feeling that day. There are times where I need a little more juice because it doesn't necessarily want to cut all the way through. I hate when that happens because then I'm wasting material, but it is what it is. So that's the back end design of things. I really hope you guys can hear this and aren't getting a ton of background noise from my laser, but I really got to cut more of them. I get this material and it typically comes in sheets of like 12 by 24. And since the ornaments are not quite 6 inches, I have a paper cutter and I just cut it in half so I got squares to work with. So they typically look like this. So I get 4 ornaments to it. I usually have some leftover material. Sometimes I use it to make earrings and things like that, or I could even do smaller parts. Before I send it in the printer, though, I do put a layer of 3M adhesive on the back. It's this thin stuff. It's really good. Makes a nice permanent bond. And when I mean permanent bond, I mean permanent bond. I use this actually, if you remember my project where I showed you the sign I did, where it was a combination of 3D printing and laser cutting. I use that to stick 3D prints to the acrylic exterior and realized the mistake that I had, and I tried to go back and fix it, and like this stuff bonds like crazy. You can't get this stuff off. So it's a good adhesive. And the laser cuts through this, no problem. I've got the design and I'm ready to weed it. So this is usually the longest part. So I just basically take a weeding tool and sit here and peel up all of this weeding for the pieces that are going to go on the little back. It takes a little bit, but it's not too bad. I've kind of got it down to a science. I've gotten more comfortable with it. I'm definitely happy that I have figured out it makes more sense to keep the pieces taped together. This inside piece that ultimately is not going to be part of it, I leave it in there and it kind of holds everything together so that I can literally flip all of the letters on over to the black piece and I'm not having to put them in individually. That was an absolute game changer when I realized I could optimize that. And for the record, yes, lasers are very loud. That's why I'm wearing my headphones. These are probably the best ones I've got in terms of noise canceling. I also have an air filter that runs in the background to help with fumes, even though I'm venting out and I have a decent powered ventilation system going. It's always nice to have that additional system helping to clear out some of the fumes. And then I just need to pull the big piece off, and I usually just do that by making a bit of a score, and then it comes right off. Now I'm all set. That's sort of my reverse weed, if you will. And then I just take our freshly cut back. Tell you, this part of the job is the bane of my existence. Weeding and pulling all of the backing off of my pieces. All right. So got the letters secured. I am just going to carefully line this up. And press down. Alrighty. Now we're all secure. And I know it looks kind of gnarly because I haven't got the backing off yet. So I'm going to do that part. And there we have it. But yeah, it's a simple, easy ornament to do. I get a lot of bulk orders with them, to be honest. This one that I'm doing, I actually have 4 copies to make. I'm down 3 down, 1 to go. Somebody just placed an order last night for 13 of them. They're having me change the text at the bottom so it says the Golden Girls. It's actually the second like root ornament I've had that seems to like honor like a group of women or such. So it's been a pretty popular item. Ironically, the design actually came together because my mom was looking for an ornament to give to my grandfather last year that had all of the great grandkid names on it. And there were 13 of them. And she just couldn't find an ornament on Etsy for that many names or like in a store where, they write the names down. So she kind of asked me if there was something I could put together. I did some research, saw some things that I thought looked kind of cool, but then I wanted to put my own spin on it. And so I ended up creating, this sort of combination black and metallic ornament. And it is a larger ornament, but at the same time, when you're dealing with a lot of names, you're going to get a larger ornament. But it seems to be pretty popular. I think it looks really nice. I've had a lot of people say they really love how it turned out. So that's kind of what I've been working on all week and what I'm going to be busy with this season. I know it's not really a tutorial, but I figured I'd give you guys kind of an inside look into what I'm doing. If you have any more questions about how to come up with ornament designs or getting yourself started with a small business on Etsy, please feel free to leave a comment or send me a message below. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.